religion that we got was Zen Buddhism, and the sacred place that we chose was the Changtai Zen Center in Sunnyvale. First thing you see in front is their foundation stone. On the stone it says, "The mind is the Buddha" in Chinese characters, which was written by their very own Grandmaster. As you walk inside, the first thing you'll see is a statue, but we'll get to that later. But first, we'll be talking about the library that the center has. In their library, they have all 9,000 of the sutras, which we know are recordings of the Buddha's words that help us to resolve our afflictions. They also have the Shastras, which were written to help explain the sutras. The sutras to Buddhists can be kind of compared to how the Christian faith has the Bible. After seeing the place, it was not at all what we had expected. I guess we're expecting it to look more like a traditional temple, where it kind of looked more of an industrial setting. Located inside the library is a statue of the Manjusri Bodhisattva. He's one of the most well-known bodhisattvas, and he's known for his wisdom. In the statue, he's holding a sword, and most people find this condescending because Buddhism is known to be a very peaceful and nonviolent religion. But this sword is a symbol for wisdom and can cut us from our afflictions. As I said earlier, we would come back to this. So as we learned in class, there are gods and goddesses for different things. Next, we have the Guanyin Bodhisattva. This deity is known to be like the hero of cries and a symbol of compassion. And one interesting fact about this bodhisattva is that in India, he is referred to as a male, but in Southeast Asia, she is referred to as a female. So by location, her gender can differ. As you enter, you can also see on the floor that there is a lotus flower, and the lotus flower is very important to the Buddhist religion. It's the symbolization of purity, and it can also symbolize hope because lotus flowers grow out of the mud. And they try to translate this to our lives that we can't grow without mud, so even if you seem like you're in a sticky situation, there's going to be a better outcome. We now enter Buddha Hall. When entering Buddha Hall, it is known to bow to the statue as a greeting to the deity. The statue that we are seeing is of Siddhartha Gautama, commonly known as the Buddha, and we also learned about him in class. In the statue, he's holding a crystal ball, which symbolizes the true nature, or also known as Buddha nature, which is within all of us. Following Buddha Hall, we have 3 different statues of bodhisattvas, which are Buddha's helpers to spread Dharma. And a way to differentiate them is by seeing what they're holding. The statues are also made of white jade, which is a very pure stone, which is why it's usually used to make Buddha statues. So the stone gives it more of a meaning. Okay, so moving on, we have the Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. This is the Tibetan version of the Bodhisattva, and this Bodhisattva is known to be the Bodhisattva of compassion. He's said to have 1,000 eyes and hands so that he can hear and see all the suffering in the world. And the tools that he holds in these thousands of hands, he uses them to help all these suffering people. Moving on, we have the meeting room. And just as the name suggests, it can be used for meetings as well as meditation. And located in this room, we have a statue of a reclining Buddha. So this position is the position that Buddha was in before going to nirvana. So whenever you see a statue in this posture, that's the event that they're trying to depict. After showing us the meeting room and the reclining Buddha statue, the tour guide brought us to the Zen Hall, which is used to hold classes and morning and evening services. So the classes are usually divided into 2 parts, the first part being meditation, and the second part is used to teach principles. And in these classes, they practice both walking and sitting meditations, which were a couple of the ways that we learned in class. In this room, we have the Shakyamuni Buddha. The drum and the bell next to the statue are used in monasteries in Taiwan. So the bell and the drums are struck at 4 in the morning and at 10 at nighttime, one to wake people up and one to let people know when it's time to sleep. So they're on like a pretty tight schedule.
So during chanting, we will use that to emphasize certain words. Called a wooden fish. Wooden fish is carved out of one wood, so the inside is hollow, and it take on the shape of a fish. And if you look here, you can see the fins. And let me see, where are the eyes? Maybe those are the eyes. So it's being used as a instrument and called a wooden fish because in the old days, people noticed that fish never close their eyes, right? So they think that, well, that means diligence, means they continue learning, and only later they find out that fish has no eyelids. That's why the eyes are always open. But the tradition sticks, and this is how it sounds like. What is it called? Percussion. It's keep the beat, or you can look at it as a drum. All right, we just go to like this. And you can also go like this. So these are what we call people come here to light what we call the blessing lamp for the whole year. So the member will come in and make an offering and light the lamp for the blessing of the whole year.
And lastly, we have a symbolization of the Eightfold Path. We did talk about this topic in class. So the Eightfold Path has three subtopics, if you would say, being wisdom, ethical conduct, and meditation or psychology. I thought the way they chose to represent this was very clever because it looks like a ship's wheel, and the Eightfold Path is basically the guide to enlightenment, just as a ship's wheel guides one to their destination. And with that being said, we hope you guys have learned something new from our tour of the Zen Buddhist Center, and thank you again for watching.